So either the night circus actually did ruin every book for me, or I'm just reading mediocre books now. I just read The Farm by Emily McKay. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It was good enough for me to want to finish it. The Farm is about vampires. But it's not just about vampires. It actually takes place about 6 months after this vampire outbreak has happened. Kind of like a zombie outbreak, except it's vampires. And instead of being bitten by vampires and turned into vampires, they rip you apart and kill you. There are these farms all over the country that are housing all these teenagers because they have found out that the vampires, or the ticks as they call them, prefer the blood of teenagers because of the hormones that are in them. So actually they say that they are keeping the teenagers in these farms to keep them safe, away from the ticks, when in reality they are using them to harvest their blood. When they turn 18, they say they get to leave. But the girl that the story is about is convinced that when you turn 18, they don't let you leave, they kill you. So it is about her plan to escape. Except it is more than just her plan to escape, because there's also this guy who has a plan to help her escape, but you don't know why he wants to help her escape. You find out as the story goes, but it takes a long time for you to figure it out. The thing that was kind of interesting about the story was that it's not just being told by one person, it's actually 3 people telling the story. It tells you at the top of the chapter who's telling the story, so it's being told by Lily, Mel, and Carter. Except when Lily and Mel are telling the story, it's written in the first person, like they're actually telling the story. And when Carter's telling the story, it's written in the third person, like some random person watching them is telling the story. And that bugged me. Like, if the other 2 people telling the story are actually telling the story, why isn't Carter telling the story? Just because he's a guy doesn't mean he can't tell the story. So the first part of the book actually really reminded me of The Forest of Hands and Teeth. It really, really had the same feeling to it, the same story premise to me, you know, like they're kept inside an area with a fence and the bad things are outside of the fence and they want to escape, and hey, they have to go outside of the fence to do that. So it was very Forest of Hands and Teeth to me, except until the fact that nothing happened. See this here? Escape is only the beginning. I'm sorry. Escape is not even till halfway through the book. It takes them so long to get out. Oh my god. Like, I really thought the story was going to be about them getting outside the fence and running away from vampires, but it was about them talking about getting outside the fence and not doing it. So then they finally get outside the fence, and, you know, then there's vampires, and there's information that you find out that's kind of cool and kind of interesting and kind of mysterious. But I was expecting it to be gripping, you know? It's about vampires and people escaping from, like, this sanctuary. It was not very exciting. I thought it was going to be like this constant page-turner, and it wasn't. I found, actually, the story was kind of well-written. I thought the descriptions were really good, and the way that she used her words. I thought it was well written. It just was slow. I read it and I wanted to finish it. But like I said about the last book that I read, if there's a second one, I don't think I'm gonna read it. No, the first one was good enough for me. So this is The Farm by Emily McKay. I give it 3 stars because it was good, but it wasn't amazing. There you go.